Welcome to the Popish Plot. I'm Nate.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Mike.
And today we're here with a Summer in Space episode. Or Summer of Space. Sorry.
This time, we're talking about the saints.
Yes.
And extraterrestrial life.
Yes. Now, this is about extraterrestrial life that is a rational being.
Yes, we're not talking about
We're not talking
bacteria.
about the tardigrades we accidentally released, and technically, because they can survive stuff, we have made our own aliens. But
we're not talking about lichens, unless they're sapient.
Yes, but,
Rational beasts.
yes, rational beings on somewhere besides Earth. We were not discussing whether they come to Earth, anything like that.
Nope.
Just
Are they out there?
throughout history, saints that you would not expect have opinions on this.
Yeah, these are not tinfoil saints. We've got heavy hitters.
Yes, this would actually be like a huge list if we were just on like just famous Catholics and famous religious.
Yeah,
because,
but we're only going with people who have miracles.
again, like all the Jesuits who got craters on the moon named after them are like, yep, there's probably something out here.
So that's why they're looking for it.
Yep.
First they have to find the aliens and then tell them about Jesus.
All
Yes.
right. So, now that we've gotten through the disclaimers, who is at the top of the list?
Well, I'm going kind of roughly according to early Christianity on, and we have
Chronologically.
Okay, so we're
you
going
could say.
time-wise.
Yeah.
So who's near the start?
A man who is in the Roman canon,
yep.
Pope St. Clement I, a.k.a. Clement of Rome.
Now, this is a possible because in his first epistle to the Corinthians, he spoke about,
Oh, those Corinthians.
always up to something, about an ocean impassable to man and the worlds beyond it, and then, discussed about these worlds. Now, some people think that he was referring to literal oceans because at the time,
You couldn't
there was
get
an
all
ocean
that
all
far away
around
from...
Eurasia and Africa, and you couldn't get that far away. But a lot of theologians, even early on, assumed he was meaning something beyond Earth.
Yes, yes. There was some difficulty at that time for trying to accomplish really long distance seafaring due to the primitive state of navigation,
Their boats stank.
and their boats stank.
They're terrible. And I don't mean smell-wise, although they did that also.
I mean, before then, people would island hopped off of Asia and stuff.
Sure, you can
but
do island hopping, but like if you wanted to go,
yeah, it was not a common thing. So there are some people who think that he just was envisioning the new world. But a lot of other people are like, no, because the sky was seen kind of as a sea as well. So he's discussing out there.
some people think he was envisioning the new world. Other people think he was envisioning new worlds, a new life, new civilization.
But, I mean, his principle can be broadly applied. In his time, yes, the Atlantic was not traversable. The Pacific was becoming traversable, but there would be a very long time before East would meet West, so we had no idea what the Polynesians were doing.
Yes. All right. So our next one, we jump up a bit because there was, there's only so many early writings we have,
Yeah.
and they were too busy, being like, I'm going to get killed by the Romans, not, what if there's people, but they're living on the moon?
The Romans are going to kill me, or this heresy, this thing that you're doing, that's a heresy. Stop doing it.
So we jump over 1,000 years into the future with a little-known saint,
You might have heard of him, maybe.
Yes.
the Thin Man, St. Thomas Aquinas.
Which again is another possible, like, he was noted for, at his day,
Yeah.
writing things about how there was only this world, by which when he wrote it, it was clearly he meant essentially there's only one universe. Like, he's not saying the stars don't exist, because he thought that, to say anything else would be like contrary to the thinking of God. So he would have hated the Marvel multiverse.
Totally.
However,
As do most of us.
However, theologians after him then went and essentially did a 180 and went, by limiting God to one world, meaning universe, we are limiting God in a way that is not, it's not like I'm making a square circle. It is physically, logically possible that he could have made multiple of these. So therefore, But he studied Greek philosophers a lot, as you probably know if you watch the show. And much like them, he thought that the stars might have had souls, and therefore they would be alive. And like, it seems to be not just the concept that, like anything important has a guardian angel, but no, like the stars themselves are beings.
Well, I mean, they're more active than a rock.
Yeah.
So
They move around in little circles.
Yeah.
And theoretically,
Some of those wanderers are going.
yeah.
and I could see there possibly being guardian angels for stars.
Oh, totally.
Not
That's not disputed.
not like in the way of your guardian angel, but
No, but that's going to be one of the really cool things.
if a
Aside
nation can get an angel, then why can't a star get an angel?
Well, and the scriptures speak of God guiding creation and whatnot. So it's going to be when we're not sunning ourselves by the lake of beer, just going and talk to the angels who either still are in the world to come or were in charge of like the heavenly bodies. Like, oh, what was your workday like? Oh, they tell you about it.
Yeah, but anyway, this is impossible because even with that, it seems like he thought that they were rational thinking souls and therefore but it's I'm not reading 50 million points and counterpoints to find this out. This was someone studied him and said this is what he thinks.
Yes.
Next, we have someone who very much does not believe in alien life form.
Absolutely no.
Of St. John Henry Newman, because he complained that essentially in all the religious circles of his day, even considering that maybe there wasn't life on other planets was essentially blasphemy.
So he's like, you guys are a little too credulous.
Yes. He's like, everyone else here definitely believes in aliens, and I don't. And I wouldn't mind, except for they seem to think it's a point of faith, and it's really not.
And I mean, I can respect that kind of contrariness.
Yes.
Especially when people make a claim, they claim their opinion as a point of faith when it is not. That is really annoying.
Yes. Next, we have one that, on one hand, I'm completely surprised. On the other hand, I'm not surprised. Because it's a visionary, but it's a visionary that tends to be liked by groups that I expect don't believe in aliens whatsoever.
Or that believe that all aliens are demons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of Blessed Anne Catherine Emmerich, who had many visions and private revelations, and these included visions of other inhabited planets. And there is some question about how much her writings were changed by editors, how much it was actually her, how much she said something and they just expanded on it.
She was very sickly, used a lot of, transcribers.
However, as there's been issues, much like with the diary of St. Faustina, where it's like, the theologians are going through this and they're like, if this is what she actually said, I can't say this is correct. And then they look through and they're like, oh yeah, some guy just wrote it. The parts on the aliens were never, part of the theological problems. They're like, yeah, other worlds, that's fine.
Hey, she saw what she saw. Apparently there's other worlds. Look, you can look through a telescope and see other worlds. She just saw, apparently they're inhabited.
Yes, we just can't see the little green men on Mars. Which you think you could, because everything we know about Mars from a basic level is that it's red, even though it's not red.
You don't want to see that, because that's how War of the Worlds starts. The first thing they see are plumes on Mars. That is bad news, man. Bad news.
Yes, and then they'll want to blow up the Earth because it ruins their view of Jupiter. I mean, Venus. Wrong way.
Yeah, you're definitely doing it wrong if it obstructs your view of...
Marvin, you little scamp.
Although, funny thing about him, he was never given the name Marvin until they started merchandising. He's just Commander X2. But they're like, that's not going to sell merch.
Well, no, it won't.
The WB was good at... We need to go and merchandise things. Like the singing and dancing frog only became Michigan J Frog in our lifetime, even though the original bit was like, I don't know, from the 40s or 50s.
Yep. Oh, make no mistake. I say this as someone who has a small Marvin the Martian collection. He just wasn't always Marvin.
But anyway, other...
Plumes on Mars. Bad news.
Other more recent saints who believed in life on other planets...
Saint Pio of Pietrelcino, or as you might know him, Padre Pio.
Yeah, the man with the stigmata.
Yes, and he believed in other beings on planets who didn't fall, which is interesting, and there's various writings of his all on it. And, it's just,
and it's also in the writings of C.S. Lewis. So apparently it's a mid-century idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then for the last one, we have a saint of our lifetime, who is a pope. So we're starting and ending with a pope. I would like to add
We are the Popish plot.
Yes, that from him on, I found a quote from every pope except for Benedict supporting the possibility of life on other planets. And from Benedict, there's the fact that he did a ton of stuff for the Vatican Observatory and, supporting things like the person who wrote a book about, can you baptize aliens? So even though he didn't directly state anything, he doesn't seem to be against, So he had one of those conversations, much like we kept getting in the news from our last pope, where, like, a kid asked him, are there any aliens? And his response was, and again, I'm sure it was either in Italian or whatever, of the 50 million language he spoke.
This was St. John Paul II. He spoke all the languages, so
yes.
Who knows?
But it was...
The second?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even bother looking
to
see
see if
if John
I was
Paul
still on-
first
I
said
was
something
still on-
about aliens.
Sorry,
because,
I was-
No, we just blew past Paul II.
Sorry, you blew past Paul
Oh.
VI, so I was...
I missed one.
So I was thinking we were still on Paul VI.
So we do have something about St. Paul VI.
Oh, we'll leave you on a cliffhanger of what he said about to the kid. So, St. Paul VI was open to the idea of life on other planets and was noted as saying that if there is intelligent life on other planets, the universal church includes them.
Why wouldn't it? It is truly the universal church. It's not the neighborhood church. It's not the block church. It's the universal church.
I feel like he was trying to, even though I didn't check the time, one up the Bishop of the Moon, be like, well, I got space aliens as soon as we find them.
Well, you may be Bishop of the Moon, but I'm still Pope, so I'm Pope of the Moon. Nah.
But anyway, John Paul II's response to about aliens was, always remember, they are children of God as we are.
And this is not just some, it's said that he said this.
Yes.
We have a source.
It was reported by, it's Italian, so.
by Monsignor Corrado Balducci.
Which then was written up in documents and stuff.
So, remember, when the space alien is either probing your livestock and or melting your face, they are a child of God.
Just as you are.
Respond accordingly.
But they're probably not the ones Padre Pio saw because those weren't fallen and probably would be, probing cows.
Hey, you are not necessarily sitting when you're probing a cow. There are many cromulent reasons to probe a cow.
But turning it inside out seems a bit much.
Well, maybe that's an inadvertent side effect.
I'm going to assume that they are doing legitimate research.
They're like the Norwegians who are still wailing. Oh, we have to do this. This is scientific research. You turned it inside out! And then we collected data.
Then we collected the data. Were you going to turn it right side out?
We don't have the data for that yet.
We turned it inside out, man. You can't put that back.
Unfortunately, our tool that makes that happen is currently on the fritz. Bob's supposed to be looking at it next week to see if we can't fix it.
Because what did Adam Savage teach us? The difference between science and screwing around
is writing it down.
Is data.
But anyway, so those are our saints in a blessed who all thought that there was life on other planets besides the Earth. And we're for or against the multiverse.
Some for, some against, which seems reasonable.
And just remember, if your research does happen to result in the turning of a cow inside out, it is not necessarily immoral or unethical.
No.
I feel like that is going to need a disclaimer.
I said not necessarily.
It could very well be. But it's not intrinsically.
But it's not intrinsically unethical.
So, comment below with whether or not you think the existence of extraterrestrial life is compatible with the gospel.
Again, excluding those tardigrades we accidentally left out in space, they will survive.
Truly extraterrestrial life does not having its origin point on Earth. Extraterrestrial.
All right.
Give this episode a like, subscribe to our channel, ring the church bell to be notified the next time we talk about saints, aliens, or any such thing.
And until next time, remember to live your faith.
Love your faith.
Share that love.